everyone, and welcome to this video. This is a Math 081 video where we practice converting between fractions, decimals, and percents. So I really like this exercise. I've already given an overview video that teaches you how to do this. So this is sort of a summary video. So as you can see in this table, I'm given information in different forms. So for example, number 1, I'm given 35%, and I need to change that to a decimal and also write it as a fraction. So I want to go through these examples with you, and also note that if rounding is required, we're being asked to round to the nearest percent, or if it's a decimal, the nearest 100th, which means I would have 2 digits after the decimal place. So let's get started. 35%, how do I write that as a decimal? Well, all I do, remember, is move the decimal over twice. So 35% is 0.35. How do I write that as a fraction? Well, remember, percent literally means out of 100, so I would write 35 out of 100. Now, remember, I always have to reduce fractions whenever I can. Hopefully you notice that both 35 and 100 are divisible by 5, so this reduces to 7 over 20. And remember, you can use technology to do that, okay? Number 2, we're given the fraction and asked to find the decimal and the percent. So the easiest way to do this is to actually type in 17 over 20 in your calculator, and your calculator should tell you that that is 0.85. Then from there, you multiply by 100%, and your final answer, your percent answer should be 85%. All right, number 3, we're given 9%. So remember, to write that as a decimal, we have to take the decimal point and move it over not once but twice. So our decimal place is our decimal equivalent is 0.09. And then as a fraction, we're going to write it as 9 out of 100. You cannot reduce that, so you just move on. Number 4, we have 0.41. So probably the easiest thing to do is first write it as a percent, just multiplying by 100%. And then if I write it as a fraction, I get 41 over 100, and 41, as far as I know, is prime, so you can't reduce that. All right, number 5. What's wrong with number 5? Well, it's a mixed number. So before I can really type that into a calculator, I need to change it to an improper fraction. Okay, so you have 1 times 2 plus 1, that's 3 over 2. So typing in 3 over 2 into your calculator gives you 1.5, multiplying by 100% gives you 150%. Now, at some point in this video, you might want to pause this and maybe try the rest of these problems on your own, and then unpause the video and see if you were correct, because you really want to get some practice under your belt, because just watching this video passively and not doing any of these problems on your own is really not the same as doing them yourself. Okay, so let's look at 6%. Again, try to pause the video, do the next 4 problems on your own, and then go back and see if you were correct. So 6%, we need to move the decimal place over twice. It becomes 0.06, or 6 over 100. 6 over 100 can be reduced, and it reduces to 3 over 50. Okay, then we have 0.08. That's 8%. It's also 8 over 100, which reduces to, because they're both divisible by 4, so it reduces to 2 over 25. Okay? All right, the next one's a little bit tricky, because if you divide 17 by 29 on your calculator, you get something that looks like this, 0.586269. Okay? So we're clearly going to have to round. Okay? And I really only want these 2 digits. I want 0.5 something. I'll put a question mark here because we're still thinking about it. Okay? So remember your rounding rules. If you have a number 4 or below, right? If I have a digit 1 through 4 here, then my 8 is going to stay the same. If I have a digit 5 through 9 here, I have to go up. So hopefully you can see I have a 6 here. So what does that mean? Does that mean that I have 0.58, or does that mean I have 0.59? Well, if you said 0.59, then that is correct. So I need to write this as 0.59, okay? And remember, if your directions ask you to round and you don't round, you're going to probably lose some points there. So 0.59 is the same as 59%. Okay. All right, 1.234. So let's see. To get a percent, we need to move the decimal over twice this way, or again, just think about it as multiplying by 100%. Okay. If I want to write this as a fraction, I would write 123.4 over 100. Well, we really don't like having decimals and fractions at the same time. Okay, so what we actually need to do is we need to move the decimal place over one more time and put that over 1,000. So let me go over that just because you might have gotten confused there. Okay, so you can see that my decimal place is starting right here. Okay, I really need a whole number, so I need to move it over 1, 2, 3 times. I move the decimal point over 3 times, so that means that I have to have 1, 2, 3 zeros in the denominator. So my final answer is 1,234 over 1,000. Now, unfortunately, you might notice here that both 1,234 and 1,000, oh no, they're both even numbers. That's unfortunate. So I actually have to divide both the top and the bottom number by 2. And when we do that, we get 617 over 500. Okay, so I think that is as reduced as we can get it. So this would be our final answer. Okay.